Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to episode 6 of Hearts of Iron 4. I'm actually recording this on Saturday, but if I can math good, then this episode should be going out on Monday, which will be release date. I've had quite a few people in the comments asking me how I can be playing the game when it isn't out yet. I would have thought that it should be fairly obvious. Paradox gave me a copy. I play a lot of Paradox games. I've done a lot of videos for them, including a fair few tutorials. I may not be the biggest YouTuber out there, but I've got a reasonably sized channel, and Paradox see fit to give me keys for stuff. More often than not, I get keys for things on release or after release. But there's been a couple of games, such as Hearts of Iron 4 and Stellaris, where I got given a key in advance. It's fairly standard practice these days. It gives people time to produce some content, which allows them to build up hype for the game. It also means that it gives those people some time to actually learn the game before they go and make things like tutorials and reviews and things like that. So we are still playing a pre-release version of the game, even though the version number is still 1.0 point something or other, but it is quite possible that there may be a day 1 or day 0 patch. Now, a couple of things that other people have said. First of all, people have said please turn off the day-night cycle. I'm going to do that. I actually agree. It's a nice effect, but when you are playing the game at anything above speed 1, it's quite psychedelic, and it seems to mess the video encoding up a little bit as well. A few other people have said to play as fascist. I mean, we could do that. We could sort of try and shift our country's focus towards fascism. But I'm not necessarily sure that I want to do that on my first game. Usually my first game in a new strategy is to try and learn the infrastructure, try and learn how resources work and development, and then worry about the combat sort of later on. So playing as a conservative means that we are less likely to get involved in offensive wars, and we'll probably stay out of the wars for quite some time. Now, we'll play through this game again, and probably at a later time we will go with a more aggressive stance. And thirdly, some people have said just go to war with Ireland. Well, I certainly could, but I don't think I'm allowed to. No war goal to justify war declaration can declare war on a country with the same ideology without a war goal. So we could attempt... Now, where's the option? Justify war goal. Democrats can't justify war goals against countries that have not generated world tension. We need world tension to be at 100%. So we can't go to war with Ireland. So, there you go. So that answers that question. So let's go ahead and unpause things. Now, we do have the troops exercising. Now, from what I've been able to read, because I did say in between videos I wanted to try and find out whether or not exercising troops actually caused attrition to your manpower or just to your equipment. The best I can find out from what I have seen and read is that it's only really affecting your equipment. It's actually your equipment cost. Now, one thing that I do also want to do is I want to change my infantry division again, because if you remember I added this artillery, which is something that I didn't necessarily want to do, because if we remove the artillery, yes, our attack goes down, but our combat width goes up. No, we get more combat width. The width doesn't go up. I guess it just gives us more space. But then we don't have any of these movement penalties. So we get a movement penalty for having the artillery support in this group. So I want all my infantry divisions just to be pure infantry, and then we will put the... we'll make a new group at some point and put artillery into that group. So Amelia Earhart disappears. The famous aviator Amelia Earhart, the first woman to complete a solo flight across the Atlantic, has disappeared along with her navigator Fred Noonan, near the Howland Island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The two were attempting a flight around the entire world in their twin-engined Lockheed Electra plane when they vanished. A search for the missing aviators is now being conducted by the US Navy and Coast Guard, but there is little hope of finding them. A loss for aviation. Doesn't really affect the world tension or anything like that. If I wanted to remove these, it would cost me 13 experience, which I don't quite have. We're up... Well, we're nearly on 13, so another month or two possibly, and we will be able to do that. Now, that will mean that we'll have quite a few artillery in reserve, because we are building artillery quite heavily. Everything that we are building at the moment, though, we're actually full, so that is good. We could go ahead and build some more tank divisions, and we will probably do that at some point. But yeah, at the moment, there isn't really an awful lot that we can do to actually get to war. We could try and build some more ships. I don't think we necessarily need to. What about building convoys? Do convoys use manpower? Because I know some of these do use manpower. Service manpower, 200. Convoys don't use service manpower. So let's just go ahead and actually build some convoys. Let's say... Can we get this up any quicker by holding a key? No, we just have to do it manually. So let's say we want to go and build maybe 40 convoys, and we can put all of our dockyards in there. So, national focus completed, limited rearmament. So let's go and have a look at that. So we just got limited rearmament that gives us 2 new civilian factories in Gibraltar, Nauru. So we can now go for a motorised army, which would allow us to deploy motorised infantry divisions. We can go for the Shadow Scheme, which grants National Spirit Wartime Industry, which grants civilian to military conversion cost reduction. Air Defence, which gives plus 25 air experience and adds maximum anti-air in East Anglia, Sussex and Cornwall. I think that's going to be very, very useful for us, actually. And we do want to sort of go down this route, possibly, to get to things like secret weapons, and the BSA Company, Birmingham Small Arms, grants infantry equipment production cost reduction. But I think, yeah, I think we will go for air defense first. And that'll give us some more anti-air down in this region, and that'll really help if we do get attacked. We don't know at the moment how things are going with some of the other nations. How does France like us? Do France like us at all? France actually like us. We don't know which direction France are actually going to go in at this point. I assume that they're going to be against Germany, but I mean, we are playing with historic focus on, so the chances are they will be against Germany, but it is possible that they might not be. That can happen. World News: Marco Polo Bridge Incident. Japanese and Chinese forces have skirmished inconclusively over the strategic Marco Polo Bridge located just southwest of Beijing. China has rejected Japan's demands for an apology and territorial concessions, claiming instead that the breaking point of Japanese aggression has been reached. Diplomats fear that the volatile situation could result in a war at any time. Well, we are certainly expecting that. Do we want to improve relations any more with Ireland? It probably would be nice to. Let's go ahead and we'll send a diplomat to Ireland. We'll try and improve things there. Bring them into the fold if we can. Yes, we are still on low manpower. I know we still have 3 dockyards. I guess theoretically, could you have 2 production lines producing the same thing? Apparently you can. So if we put you up to a similar number. We have 20 dockyards. So let's go and get... yeah, we have 20 dockyards. So let's go ahead and get 20 working on each of them. And we'll just sort of stockpile up these convoys. That's fine. So we do still need some artillery, but let's go ahead and change that unit now. So we want to remove the artillery, and we want to go and remove the artillery support. So that will cost us 14 points. I'm sure it said 13 before. No, it's not letting me do that because the design is too expensive. We have finished researching convoy sailing. So we'll have to come back to the division designer in a second. So what do we want now? We've got convoy sailing, which is destroyer sub-detection increase and destroyer organisation. So we can go down now into more destroyer sub-detection. We'll want to go down probably through most of these. Better submarine surface detection. Undersea blockade. These can be really useful. We don't have a lot of subs at the moment. I think carrier organisation and sortie efficiency could be useful. We will probably have a lot of aircraft as the United Kingdom. Or do we want to work on getting any better ships? We could work on some of these ships. We could get ourselves a better battleship. We could get ourselves the King George V class battleship. Let's go and work on getting some battleships. Why not? And we will make sure we unpause the game once again. So hopefully, there we go, we've got up to 15 now. Let's see if it'll actually let me do this. So if I want to edit the infantry division, we want to get rid of the artillery support and get rid of the artillery. We can now actually go ahead and save that. So what should happen now is we have no template, which is what is expected. That's because we are producing artillery and we don't have any templates for the artillery to go into. That's absolutely fine. We could actually stop producing artillery if we want, or we can just carry on and stockpile, which is basically what we are doing. We might now be tempted to remove a factory and just pop one into light tanks, so we can produce our tanks a little bit more quickly. Things are going fairly well with our military equipment and our support equipment, even though we are currently not working on any aircraft, even though we are currently exercising, so we are getting some attrition. Let's have a quick look around, see if we can find what is going on in the rest of the world. Spain have sorted out their problems now. We still own Gibraltar down here, which is quite nice. We do have some ships, and we also have some random bits of infantry sort of splashed around all over the place. Down here also, we also control Malta. Again, we've got a few ships and a regiment of infantry down there. Somebody did say to grant independence to India. I'm not too sure why we'd want to. I think we want to sort of hang on to them at the moment. Why can't we... oh, they're already in a faction. Yeah, they're in my faction. So they will accept, but they're already in. You'd also need tension at 80% to get someone into a faction. British Raj is non-aligned and needs world tension at 40% to join the faction. Currently at 7%, but they're already in anyway. Yeah, we could guarantee them independence. Oh, not guarantee them independence, actually grant them independence. Again, we'd need 25% world tension to do that, but I don't see why I should. We just want to keep them under control to use in the war, which is pretty historically what happened. We've now got enough of our political power to make an adjustment here. We could go and get another political advisor. So we could get somebody who was a fascist, so we actually gain fascist support if we wanted to. Armaments organizer, well, we're not converting any factories. We're not building air bases and radar stations and naval bases or anything at the moment. Political power gain and ideology drift defense could be useful. Daily democracy support 0.1, which isn't great, to be honest. Or we could go in for one of these things. We could add an industrial concern. Reduce the industrial research time. Reduce the electronics research time. Are we researching any of those things currently? The answer to that would be no. So that does seem a little bit pointless in doing that. Materials designer. We are working on ship designs. So naval research time minus 10%, max range 30%, sub detection 10%, max speed 10%. Does increase production cost. Naval firepower. And this reduces the production cost of our fleet, but makes them not as good. This makes our carriers larger, but gives them less armor, gives them more range. I actually quite like this one. Reduces the naval research time, gives 50% more armor to our carriers, and gives our capital ship plus 10% armor and plus 10 more naval firepower. I think we'll go ahead and get Camel Laird to design our fleets. So that will help things out. And yes, once again, I'm aware that I don't have a template for those things. So I don't think anybody else is at war. That Japanese incident did cause a little bit of world tension. It hasn't really burnt away yet. We're still only in August 1937, so we're a couple of years away from anything happening. We are really regaining manpower now, although the icon for having low manpower is still very much present. What is our manpower cap? Trying to find it. Total manpower 609k. I think that's actually what we are using. But we could go ahead and recruit some more units, and we probably want to get doing that. So let's go and recruit and deploy. We want to train. Let's get a few tank brigades. We are actually building some tanks. So let's go and train. Now remember not to have this set on infinite, otherwise it takes forever. But let's say we want 4 new divisions of tanks. And instead of doing 4 actually, we'll just do 2 and set them in the East Midlands. And then we will do another unit of 2. And we will set them in the West Midlands. So now they're going to be building side by side in parallel instead of in serial. We don't have enough equipment to supply them all at the moment, though, so we need to continue building tanks. If we go and look at the production, we should start to see a deficit. Yeah, we need 226 tanks to fill that deficit. We could take some away from things like the artillery, but I don't think that we need to. We've actually got 2 production queues working on light tanks now. They're both Vickers 2. I don't know why I have 2 production queues. We should just have the one, I think. Cancel this production line, put you on to that one. Hopefully we'll get some more efficiency up. It will take a little bit of time. We should still be creating them both. Yep, we are. That's fine. We'll also want to get some paratroopers at some point as well. So maybe we can start working on some of those. Now, how much manpower does one of these cost? Let's just double check this. Should tell us somewhere. Manpower, 3,000 manpower, so we can build a few of these. What's it actually comprise of? Just 3, what are these regiments, possibly? There's 3 regiments of paratroopers. Can't really afford to add a 4th, I don't think. It would cost us 5 to add. I think having a small group's not a bad idea, just for some hit and run tactics. So let's go and train some up. So we'll have a group of 2 in London, and we will train up another group of 2 in Sussex. So we're starting to build up on our army a little bit now. We are getting some manpower. That air defense is done, which is really nice. So now we can go into radar, which gives plus 25 air experience and also 3 times 50% research bonus to air technology. And then we can sort of move down to here. It does, well, no, we can't. Requires all of the following, so we would need this one. And we can't get the cryptologic bomb until we are at war with the German Reich. But do we want to get radar, or do we want to concentrate on something else? We need to be at 5% world tension or at war to do this. We don't really need that, though. Motorized army. Let's go for the motorized army. Might as well get something that'll be more useful later on. So I think it's probably time to get some... Oh, Japan has declared war on Shanxi, so that's going to start bumping the world tension up considerably now. So we're at 24% already. Things have really just started to heat up. So let's make sure that we do get more guys coming in. So let's go and get 2... In fact, let's get 5 paratroopers here and set your location in Gloucestershire. And let's put you up to 5 and let's put you up to 5. And then I think we want some infantry divisions as well. And let's say we want to get 10 infantry divisions. It might be quite slow, but we will have a little bit of a lack of equipment. Let's put you in Yorkshire. Did that actually click on what I wanted it to? Did I add them? No, I didn't. Location set, Yorkshire. There we go. So they will be quite slow. You'll probably find now that we've got a lot of equipment that we need. Apparently not that bad. We do have enough infantry equipment and support equipment in storage. We're just trying to catch up on tanks, really. We could go ahead and get some more military factories. We are currently using all of the ones that we have. We're currently working on a few civilian factories, and then we'll start working on infrastructure. We'll also be working on some more anti-air and a lot of coastal forts. We probably then will want to get ourselves some more military factories. In fact, do we really need more military factories? We do have a few production lines, but a lot of them are building things that we don't really need. I guess a few more factories wouldn't be a terrible thing. Let's go ahead and just get a couple queued up. Where can we fit one in? One in the West Midlands. We'll get another one here in Lancashire. Possibly another one in Wales. Hopefully be safe over on the sort of northwest coast. And we will we'll top priority all of these guys. We also want to possibly top priority that oil as well. So let's go ahead and top priority you. We'll let that civilian factory finish first, because that will speed up the building of these other things. Yeah, I think that'll be fine, so we'll leave that as is. So the world tension is really getting up now. The largest world tension has been generated by Japan. Well, that's not surprising. So Japan is further that way. So they went to war with... Who was it they went to war with? Not even entirely certain. Is there a diplomacy map mode? Let's click on Japan. So basically, yeah, Japan is at war with China. So that's really going to make life interesting. So not too sure what it came up with. Did it say Japan? Japan declared. It just says China. Oh, Shanxi. See, Shanxi, who I wasn't sure who that was. Soviet Union is sending volunteer divisions to China. So the Soviets are on the side of China, which is good because technically we're on the side of the Soviets and we should be against Japan. So historically, that's kind of how it should be. The People's Republic of China. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for you guys. Looks like Raj is starting to mobilise some troops to the north along the sort of Tibetan border and also towards Afghanistan. Now then, can we actually see anything of Germany and what's going on with them? Not really at the moment. Let's go back into the diplomacy map mode. So they are friendly with Italy and with Hungary. That's not a surprise. France are just France. They're not really friendly with anybody. Spain are friendly with the Soviet Union. We are friendly mostly with Canada. Canada, but not the United States. Well, Canada's part of our faction and the US isn't. We will probably be able to bring them in at some point. What about Ireland? Are you willing to join our faction yet? Probably not. Invite to faction. We need at least one more positive. Ireland has strategic reasons to ally the United Kingdom. But there's a base reluctance of 20. Neither they nor we are at war. And they have neutral foreign policy. So basically, they don't want to get involved. Doesn't mean that they won't, but at the moment, they don't want to get involved. What about Belgium? How's stuff going on with you? We like each other. We could get a non-aggression pact. But you'll not accept. So why would you not accept a non-aggression pact? What about the Netherlands? You wouldn't accept a non-aggression pact either. Well, that's just not cricket, really, is it? Let's go and have a look at the Americans. I'm guessing they're not interested. They're too big. They wouldn't even accept a non-aggression pact either. Oh well. We will wait, we have time. We do have some air experience now, which potentially means that we could go ahead and get some better planes. I'm trying to remember how we do that. I think it's in production. Build aircraft. And then we can create a variant. And I think it's probably bombers that we're going to be using quite a bit of. Our transport planes. We definitely need some more of those, I think. How many transport planes do we have? Not sure that we have any at all. Where can we find out? Air. We have 0 transport planes in our air forces. Well, there's a problem right there. So glad I noticed that sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and get some transport planes. Now we don't have any factories to work them at the moment, so I think we take a few away from. Now we're nope. I thought we were falling behind there, but we're not. Probably take one off. No, we need tanks. Just got to upset the efficiency now. So how many does that give me available? 2 more. There we go. So we're now building some transport planes. Free military factory, apparently. Oh, we've just gained an extra one for some reason. Let's go and add that in then. We're actually now... So just keep saying we're falling behind on these things, but we might be okay. So we're actually getting some transport aircraft because we are really going to need those. But yeah, as I was saying, we could go and design a variant on some of our aircraft with our free experience. But I think we'll do that in another video because we've gone over the 20-minute mark. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Hearts of Iron 4. I had a moment relapse there where I thought I was still playing Total War Warhammer. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So, until then, goodbye for now.